Hello, Catalina. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. And thank you guys to join us for this session. I will say some words about Catalina, our guest for today. So Catalina is a designer and a brand strategist based in Portugal. Despite of having master degree in biomedical engineering, she currently serves as a UX designer for a digital transformation company with a focus in the automotive and industrial technology industries, and founding partner of the GBW and independently owned design consultancy, focused on helping business grow through brand strategy, design, and digital experience. And a part of that, she has a great Instagram account, and I'm very recommended you to follow her.
Thank you.
I hope I didn't miss anything.
No, you did great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So today we will talk about a topic that I guess a lot of people is interesting on. It's how to be a UX designer without a design degree, and maybe how to be a UX designer by and I study by yourself. To be autodidact designer. And can you tell us a little bit about how you start, Catalina? How because your story is super interesting to hear.
Sure. So I'm currently a UX designer, but I will tell you my story before getting to UX design. So I'm from Portugal, although I have Canadian nationality because my father is Canadian. So I was born in Portugal in a tiny island in the middle of the Atlantic called Madeira Island. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a very nice place to visit, so I recommend it. So I lived there until I was 18 or 19. Then I moved to the mainland for university where I studied biomedical engineering. Then I did the last year of my master's in Germany. Then I decided when I finished my degree, I decided I wanted to take a break from biomedical engineering. So I moved to Canada for 6 months. Then I returned to the mainland, and I've been here ever since.
And one thing that's interesting, before know you, I didn't know that exists something like biomedical engineering. So how you choose to study biomedical engineering? Because maybe it's not the the first thing that people think to study. Maybe lawyer, maybe I don't know doctor, but biomedical engineering. How you know it? How you start choose to study it?
Mhm. So I will go a little bit back. So here in Portugal, once you transition from the ninth grade to high school, you need to choose like a field of studies. So you have like economics, science, arts, literature, and some other stuff. So I've been always interested in drawing. But I also at the same time I liked science and I liked math. So like the adults around me, they were like, you shouldn't go to arts because it's hard to find a job. And since you like science and math, you should go to science. So then I decided to go to science, which I did. I don't really regret it because I liked it. So then I finished high school. Then it was time to apply to university. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I went to the office where you apply to university, and they showed me like a few courses. And I first heard of biomedical engineering at that point. I've never heard of it before. So then the person that was in charge of the application showed me the courses, and I saw, oh, this has math, calculus, technical drawing. It was like it's a very broad degree. So I decided let's go for it.
So it was like a little bit accident to choose
Yeah, it was.
biomedical.
It was totally. If the person that was in charge of the application didn't show me that degree and showed me like something else, I would have never heard of it. So it was pure luck. But I'm actually happy with that choice.
So you studied biomedical engineering. After that,
Hmm.
you continue to you finish the university and you go to make a master in that. field also?
Yeah, so basically when you apply to university here in Portugal, like the engineering degrees, you apply for bachelor's, and then the master's, it's all included. So you finish your bachelor's degree, and then you just start right away the master's. It's included.
Ah, it's included.
Yeah.
So, okay, this is interesting because this is something that I hear the first time that people finish the degree and after that they make the master. So you finish the master and
Mm-hmm.
now go to Germany to make an internship.
No, it was part of my master's. It was my thesis. So I think in Europe you have the Erasmus programs,
Hmm.
which the universities have protocols with other universities. So that's what happened. There was a university in Germany that had a partnership with my coordinator in Portugal. So that's why I did my master's there.
So you make the master, you finish the
The
master.
degree, sorry, the thesis, sorry, not the entire master. So I did the first year of my master's in Portugal, and then I did my thesis in Germany.
Okay. And now, after a lot of years, the family are happy. You have a master in biomedical
Yeah.
engineering. I guess nobody understood what you do, but it seems very big, big and interesting. And you start to work after that in biomedical engineering.
Yeah, I can just sum you up biomedical engineering in one phrase. So, if you have a degree in biomedical engineering, you can do pretty much anything. Because in the masters, you can choose from four masters. You have clinics, electronics, informatics, and materials and mechanics, which was the one I chose. So, you can do like pretty much anything. If you go, for example, for a master's, with a master's in informatics, you can work as a developer, and so on and so on.
And your specialty, what was your this
Uh,
for?
it was materials and mechanics.
So actually, your work was to help develop new materials for medical, something like that,
Yeah,
no?
yeah. And my thesis was in robotics, so I basically developed a software that would help medical students to train with a robot, a medical robot that was used for surgeries, like in the throat.
Great. So you finish, everybody's happy. You come back, I guess, to Portugal after that
Yeah, yeah,
and searching for a job.
yeah.
From in UX designer, maybe some people say that it's difficult to find a job, maybe for juniors. In that industry, it's something difficult, or actually there is a lot of demand and to people, and there is not a lot of people that.
Um, it's easy in the sense that you don't have to work as a biomedical engineering. So in Portugal, if you really want to work as a biomedical engineering, it's hard. But
Mm,
if, as I said, you can do pretty much anything. If you want to work as a developer, you can get a work very easily. So I decided to go with software testing and Q&A management in the health industry. So it was pretty easy to find a job. Actually, the job found me because I was really looking for it. So it was basically a friend of a friend that was working at a medical startup, um, and she approached me and asked me if I was interested in it. And since I wasn't really looking for anything in specific, I
mm.
decided to go for it.
Okay, so that was in which year? 2000,
Let me think. It was at the end of 2017.
2017.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
you start work, and how much time you work as a biomedical engineer?
It was until last year, 2020. It was around this time. It was actually May, by the end
Yeah.
of May. That's when
Oh,
I quit my job.
you quit your job, but you do only a biomedical engineer over there or another stuff?
No. So at the same time, I was taking my degree. I started working also as a graphic designer for a nonprofit organization. So I was able to build a portfolio based on the work I was doing there. So in the company I was working at as a tester. So I knew that my company was looking for a designer, and up to that time I've never heard of the term UX design. So it was pretty new to me. So I knew they were looking for a designer to take care of the design of the software, the website, and also the like stationery material for they used to attend fairs to show the product. So since I had a portfolio, I decided to speak to my bosses at the time, and they
Yeah.
really liked it. They said it was like very interesting, and they would give me the opportunity, and we would do like a test case, and it went all fine. So they gave me the opportunity to work as a UI designer,
So
basically.
you started as biomedical engineer,
Yeah.
but where, if I understand, continue in the same company, and inside the company you
Yeah.
change your role to designer.
I was doing like my part-time. I was part-time UX UI designer slash a little bit of UX, and part-time Q&A
But
management.
but okay, but when you understood that you want to change the career, because it seems to me very, let's say, heavy. You said, okay, I change, but how you feel that you want to change, or again an accident of something that happened. I mean, something happened. You see that new role, and you say, why not? Why you wanted to change?
I think there was like a tiny trigger, which I'm remembering now. Um, so my boyfriend, he knew that I like drawing and I like photography and all that stuff, but I stopped drawing. So on Christmas, he gave me like a notebook and material to draw. So I started drawing. I started using Illustrator again, Photoshop, and then I think the stars aligned and the opportunity showed up. And I thought to myself, so you wanted to be a graphic designer, you wanted to work as a designer. So I think here's your chance. So just go for it.
Yeah. If I understand, your boyfriend feel that you need to draw again because when you're a child, you draw a lot. If I understood
Yeah,
you well,
yeah, yeah,
you has the talent to draw. I mean, it's come to you naturally.
yeah, yeah.
But
Since I was probably like 6, 7 years old,
wow. No,
I
I
started.
said it because I know to draw a little bit because I studied in the university to draw, but it's not native for me, let's say. So,
Hmm.
but in your case, you said, okay, I will start, I draw, and your boyfriend said, okay, take a notebook, start to draw, and your feeling, you want to come back maybe to this feeling of touch the visual, no?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was exactly it.
So you start draw, but Illustrator, Photoshop, but to make a UX design, another thing. So how you choose to make a UX design? Because you said I had the opportunity in my company, but actually before of that, I had the portfolio of non-profit organization.
Hmm.
So how you choose, okay, UX design, and what you did to study UX design.
So when I started working as a part-time designer, I was doing mostly UI stuff for the company. So it was basically the design of the software. So then I found out about UX design. So I decided to deepen my knowledge on that matter, like mostly reading articles online, and then I decided to start doing interviews with a client that was using the software. So that's where I really started learning about UX design and exploring it.
So if I understand, you have the something trigger to start the draw
Yeah,
again. You
yeah,
want
yeah,
to make
yeah,
that an opportunity come inside the company. You said, hey, I will do it.
yeah.
I will do it. You started with UX design because maybe you was more familiar with that.
Yeah.
And after that, start to study UX like an autodidact.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
here you said a study from articles. I guess you took some courses online.
Yeah. So I get bored pretty easily. So taking courses online, it's not my first option, but I've taken a few. Mostly because most of the videos they are very long. Like for me, long it's if it's longer than 10 minutes for a tutorial, it's long. So I mostly prefer to use books. And I also brought here one book that I really like. It's called Lean UX. It's a very nice book. Has a very nice structure to study. So that's my preferred way of studying, to read books. And then if I want to like deepen the knowledge on like a chapter of the book, I just go and search for articles, maybe one or two videos to deepen my knowledge.
And from there you start to build your knowledge
Yeah.
from this
Yeah.
point. So make a research with users, test users, and build the the design. So it was did you saw it as difficult to study by yourself because new field, new stuff, maybe something that was difficult to you? Maybe you didn't understand some stuff, how you get information, how I test, do I am the right path?
Yeah. So I think the most difficult part, for example, if you it's this is for like pretty much anything. If you take a degree on something, like if you go to university or take a course online, there's a structure. So it's very easy. You don't have to do anything. You just have to follow. So on the other side, when you're studying by yourself, you need to write your own plan. So nowadays, since we have the internet and there's so much information online, it gets pretty much it gets overwhelming to decide when to stop searching or looking for something, and where should you look, where should you not look. So that's I think that's the hardest part, to write your own plan.
So to filter you mean if I understand well, to filter the information? I mean, there is a lot of information. How I filter what I need to study, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
There is some places that you saw that they are better than different places. I mean, for me, I can say that when I need to study something, I go to NN Group. I like this
Mm-hmm.
website. I feel this is a very good place to find information. But in your case, there was places that you feel that the website is better than others.
Mm-hmm. I usually follow the NN Group, and also more recently, Interaction Design Foundation. They have some nice courses, and pretty much books. I love books. It's a
Yes.
very nice way to, because they're all structured. And as I said, if you want to deepen your knowledge, is just close the book and research on that chapter or subchapter, and then return to the book.
And apart of if we talk about books, apart of the books of Linux, do you have any another recommendations for great books that you read?
I actually have a few here. Here's another one. This one is called
The Lean
Lean
Startup.
Startup. Yeah. So basically, Lean UX bases its methodology in Lean Startup. So I recommend reading both. You can read in any order. It's fine. And then another book that actually made me start my Instagram channel. My account was this one, Show Your
Hey,
Work by Austin
the,
Kleon. It's a very nice book. I love it. And
yes,
it's very nice to read and easy.
I actually okay. This book I know some books about design, but this is new for me. So great. I research it and we'll put the links
Yeah.
on the description of this video so you can see it. If we talk about books, it's something that interesting me a little bit. When I talk with people about what is MVP, for example, because not a lot of people, all the people read the book of the Lean Startup, or
Hmm.
I take MVP because it's very famous. I feel that sometimes people use terms, but they don't understand what it means.
Yeah.
if you read the books, I guess sometimes you're in the meeting, you see people that talk that they don't know deeply what the things say, no?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
That happens a lot, mostly with the buzzword UX,
yes.
design and usability. People are like in my company and the company I've worked before. It's a buzzword. People like to say usability. You need to 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 keep the UX in mind, and most times they don't really know what it means. So I think it's it's up to us designers teach and those people what those words really mean.
Yes, I will say it, maybe also said maybe designers that needs to read these books to understand actually the terms, because if we only see an Instagram post or understand the things for very one phrase, it will be difficult to understand, because in the books there is some story that explain the terms that the
Yeah.
industry use. So I guess that it will be good for people to read these books as a to acquire the knowledge.
Yeah.
I guess you can feel like that, something like that.
Yeah, but the problem is like I think we're losing the likes of reading with the digitalization of things.
Mhm.
So sometimes you can recommend books to people, but most of them won't read. So I think we need to like find other ways to teach people these type of terms.
Hmm. Great, great. And we move a little bit to our side. So you actually
Mhm.
study from books, get the confidence, continue working. But anybody help you? Did you have knew you some designers that could help you, or you actually studied 100% by yourself? I
It was
mean,
mostly by myself, but before I decided to quit my job and pursue UX design as a full-time job, I spoke to a few senior UX designers that actually recommended me a few books and gave me some tips like on my portfolio, what should I do, and all that stuff.
it give you did it give you some, let's say, confidence about your portfolio, because actually you build your portfolio by yourself, that it's amazing, because without degrees of design and that stuff. And they when they give you let's say critique or some tips about your portfolio, did you feel that you speak the same language like them? You feel that you study by yourself but actually you have the knowledge like them?
In a part, yes, but I think there's a few things that I'm missing from not having a formal degree. For example, color theory, and for example, courses like typography. And for example, there's some things that I know I'm missing because I don't have a formal degree. But I think with experience, I think I will fill that gap.
That's interesting stuff. And now you make the chance, you but the after you make the chance, let's say that it was for you like a like gradient change, because half a day you work as biomedical engineer, half a day as a UX designer. And there was some moment that you said, okay, I want to be only UX designer. And what triggered you to move for 100%? Because for me, it's like you was in the two places, maybe study a little bit, see if you like it, see if you don't like it. And in some moment you said, okay, I quit my job, go full UX designer work.
So I was doing like a UX design part time and Q&A management part time. So testing software when you have to do it manually, it gets boring. And I say boring because even though we would add to the software features, you have to do the same tests like over and over and over again. So it gets very boring. And so it was a moment that I decided I don't want to do testing. I want to work as a designer full time. So that's when I decided to quit my job. It was probably it was a year ago, more or less. Like in a week or two, I was going to quit my job.
Hmm. And One question that interesting because you said QA today. The you work as a new QA. It's help you to design today's screens
Yeah.
because yes, no, you know
Yeah.
where is the edge cases, I guess.
Yeah. That's really it. Yeah, it definitely helped me. As you said, it got a little bit easier to find those edge cases, and it also made it easier to talk to developers also, which is very important when
Yes.
you're the product you're developing is not only depends on design, it also depends on the development team. So it also made me talk to developers in a way that's easier for them and for me.
So actually, you didn't afraid to make the full movement. You feel very confident if I understand you well.
Yeah, I was ready to make the leap.
And because okay, the questions for me, you make the leap now 1 year work in another company. Now you work as a full UX designer, no?
Yeah.
And if you let's say you made the change and now today work as full UX designer and you feel that after 1 year of a full UX designer with all the knowledge that you came before your autodidact study and the QA, you feel like confident as a UX designer. You can manage all the things. I mean, after one, let's say, working health, now 1 year, you quit 1 year before, now you feel like full confidence about to take big products and move them.
I wouldn't say that I'm 100% confident, but I'm in the 90s, so I think it's pretty good from one person that's transitioned like not even a year ago. Uh, because as I said, also since I've mostly worked as a solo designer and not being able to work with senior designers. That know the process, that just maybe having to do things by myself, and so I basically learned most things from failure. So that was that was my way of doing things. That's why I say I'm not 100% confident, but I'm still pretty
Uh,
confident in the work I deliver.
I can say it, but from my point of view, I study also a little bit like an autodidact,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't work with senior designers,
Mm-hmm.
and I can understand you. It's like, do I always ask myself, do I do the best? Can I be better? Nobody can critique the work. Now, I mean, now I work with designers, but before I didn't want, I wasn't working with designers. It's like was me and with developers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I can understand you that maybe to be near a senior designer that can guide, it's a great way to enter to this field. If I understand you well, also, I mean, not let's say to make less failures.
Yeah.
Um, and Catalina, I guess a lot of people want to move to UX designer. Do you have advice for people that want to be an autodidact and maybe they are, let's say, the people that are afraid to make the change? Do you have any advice for them? Because your path is quite interesting.
Sure. I think you first need to decide um, how you're going to learn. So if you want to transition your career, you need to have a plan. Otherwise, it would be very hard to follow things. So what I recommend, if you don't know where to start, you need to write a plan to see what you need to learn and how you're gonna learn it. Either you can maybe take a course online, you can take like a course at a university, maybe after work. You can do it as I did, like going through books and researching online. And then you can either quit your first build a portfolio and then start applying for internships, for example, and land one of those internships. Or you can do as I did, which was finding an opportunity in the company you're currently working at, because and I recommend this approach because they know who you are, what you're capable of doing in your current job. So I think it's easier to for a company that knows you to give you an opportunity for you to change your career than to a company that doesn't know you to give you that opportunity. So that's my advice.
You mean somebody that work in a company, in a case, to make the path, and after make the portfolio, if there is opportunity inside the company, try to go with this opportunity, not
Yeah.
to go to another company because people don't know him or her.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, unless you already have like a strong portfolio, maybe. But when you're in house, I think it's better at least to gain some experience, and then once you have like 6 months of experience, I think it's you can make the transition to another company, for example.
okay. And another question is that let's see, when you did the change, how the people in near you thought about that? What they said, go for it, or it was like, wow, why you do it? Biomedical engineer was wow.
So first, my parents, they were like, I told them that I wasn't happy with my current job and I wanted to quit. So I didn't have any other company in mind. I just wanted to quit and just go for it. My parents were fully supportive. They were like, do whatever you want. The most important thing here, it's your mental health and being happy. So do whatever you want. Then my boyfriend and my friends, they were all like scared because I was going to quit like mid-pandemic. So it was going to be hard to find a job. They were all scared because like money-wise, it's like it's a scary leap when you're independent and then you're dependent on money and then you stop having like a source of income. It's scary, but I know if I wasn't going to take that leap at that time, I wasn't going to do that sooner. So overall, people were scared, but they were all pretty much supportive.
Hmm. That's interesting. Maybe this session we need to send to some parents,
Definitely.
more the people that want to be a UX designers. Look, actually, it was super interesting for me. I have one more questions, but after that we can go to Q&A. What is the best advice that someone give you about UX design, product design?
That's a very nice question. It was probably to always keep users in mind, because users are the ones that drive companies. Because without users, products are just failed ideas.
Hmm, great. Involve the users. That is always
Yeah.
the good thing to do.
Yeah, because we're developing products for users and not for ourselves. So we should always keep users in mind and involve them in the process from the beginning and as
Yeah,
much as possible.
that's for me. I cannot agree more than you. If we make product, it's for people, not for us, and not for fighting inside meetings. And it's that people will use it.
Yeah.
Catalina, there is one questions from the chat
Mhm.
for from Carmen. Catalina, in your current role as a UX designer, something from your biomedical engineer background help you?
Thanks for your question, Carmen. And it was that's a very nice question. It did, because sometimes we designers we think too abstract sometimes. So having a degree in engineering has made me look at my designs and the problems from like in an engineering, a more technical perspective, to see what's feasible and what's not. So yes, it definitely made me look at things in a different way that I wouldn't do if I didn't have this degree in engineering.
Hmm. That's good. That's good. I don't know if any more people want to ask something. Let's see if there is something in the chat that people want to ask. Uh, let's see. In the meantime, let's see if there is more people that want to ask. I think there is no more no more questions. So with this great there is one. As a UX designer, do you also code front end? From Joanna.
Hi, Joanna. Thank you for your question. No, I don't. I used to code in C++ in university, but I decided that I wasn't really good at coding, so I prefer to stick to the things I'm good at. So no coding for me. But it's actually pretty useful to for designers to be able to code because, for example, um, you don't have to rely on a front end developer to do your stuff. So you can just basically do it your own way. So that's the perk. But for me, I'm not very into it. So I leave it to front end developers to do it.
It's if the people that know code know if the design know code, it's help to talk with developers and
Yeah.
also to use the Chrome how you call it to test the product to see the CSS and that stuff.
Oh, like the inspector.
Yeah, the inspector exactly.
I do that to do a few tests.
Yes,
But
and also from the CSS and the HTML. But if people know how to use it much better, they can make more interesting things to test the behavior of the screens and that stuff. So it's
yeah,
good.
definitely.
Actually, it's not necessary, but if person have this ability, it's great.
Or at least if you know the basics, I think
Yes.
it's very helpful.
Mhm. So I think we don't have more questions. I don't see more. Let me see. No, there is no more questions. So let's say I said thank you very much, Catalina, to today. Thank you for you guys to join us to this session, and have a great day. So thank you, Catalina.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun and it was a pleasure.
Pleasure to interview. Very very interesting. Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
friends. Bye.
Bye.